Whether you're planning a trip or looking to move or retire somewhere new, you've probably spent some time researching the best cities in the country. But have you ever thought about the places to avoid? Whether it's a city with high crime, high poverty, a poor education system, or something else. There are certain cities in the US that have had a rough go at it, and are unfortunately worth staying away from, to say the least. And so today on Across the Globe, we're going to be looking at the worst cities in America. Number 1, Detroit, Michigan. You might be surprised to learn that Detroit was once one of the wealthiest cities in the entire world, but in recent decades, it's had quite the reversal and is now considered one of the worst cities in the entire country. Specifically, it's considered a particularly bad place to raise a family. At least, that's according to WalletHub, which recently ranked 182 American cities based on whether they were a good place to raise a family. To do this, they looked at 5 main factors: family fun, which includes things like playgrounds per capita and walkability; health and safety, which includes metrics like air quality and pediatricians per capita; education and childcare, including school system quality and high school graduation rate; affordability, which includes cost of living and housing affordability; and socioeconomics, including share of families living in poverty and share of families receiving food stamps. The results were pretty bad for Detroit. In fact, it came in 3rd worst in the entire country at number 180 overall. When it comes to the specific metrics, it was ranked 162 for health and safety, 170 for education and childcare, 162 for affordability, and 182 for socioeconomics. I will note that Detroit ranked slightly better at number 69 for family fun, but that score still wasn't high enough to outweigh its poor rankings in the other categories. Now you might think things end there for Detroit, but they don't. They get worse. The city also has one of the worst graduation rates in the entire country, with only 77.8% of high school students graduating in 2020. For reference, the school system with the highest graduation rate is Irvine, California, with 98.7% of its high school students graduating in 2020. As if that weren't bad enough, Detroit also has the 2nd highest child poverty rate out of any city in the country. Then there's the crime. The city was recently ranked the number 6 most dangerous city in America according to the amount of violent crime. Specifically, it has a violent crime rate of 23 per 1,000 people, which means that you have a 1 in 43 chance of being a victim of violent crime. For reference, the US has a national violent crime rate of only 5.6 per 1,000 people. Number 2, Bessemer, Alabama. On the surface, Bessemer might not seem like such a bad place to live. It's a small-sized city with a population of about 27,000. There's a quaint, tree-lined downtown and tons of history in the area. But beneath the exterior, things aren't so great. In 2019, Bessemer was considered one of the worst places to live in all of the US, according to 24/7 Wall Street, which looked at factors like affordability, economy, quality of life, and community to make this assessment. It came in 6th place overall, primarily due to its high poverty rate, which was 30% as of 2019. Today, things haven't improved much. In fact, Bessemer still has an extremely high poverty rate at 28.8%. For reference, the national poverty rate is 11.6%, meaning that Bessemer's is more than double that. In addition, Bessemer has struggled with high crime, and particularly violent crime. It was recently named the number 1 most dangerous city in the country for its violent crime rate of 33.1 per 1,000 people, which means that you have a whopping 1 in 30 chance of being a victim of a violent crime if you live here. Number 3, Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland is considered the worst place in the entire country to raise a family, according to that same study we saw earlier from WalletHub. As a refresher, the study ranks cities on their family friendliness based on family fun, health and safety, education and childcare, affordability, and socioeconomics. Cleveland came in dead last out of all 182 cities looked at. It ranked really poorly across the board, at 106 for family fun, 160 for health and safety, 167 for education and childcare, 168 for affordability, and 181, the second worst, for socioeconomics. What is equally alarming is that Cleveland has the third highest child poverty rate out of any other city in the country, which is another sign that this city isn't a great place to raise a family. But the bad news for Cleveland doesn't stop there. The city has one of the lowest graduation rates in the nation, coming in at fifth worst in the country, with a high school graduation rate of 81.7. The school system has also been struggling with a high student-to-teacher ratio, meaning that teachers may be overburdened and students underserved. While it might seem as though the bad news is just for Cleveland's children, that's not exactly the case. In fact, Cleveland was recently named one of the worst-run cities in the U.S., according to a study that examined cities based on the quality of their city services and the city budget per capita. Cleveland came in at 146 out of 149 cities examined, with a score of 137 for quality of city services and 140 for city budget per capita. Number 4. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque has had a troubled history. In 2011, it was named one of America's top 10 poorest cities in the U.S. By 2014, it ranked worst in the country in terms of poverty. And by 2018, it was considered one of the worst cities to live in the entire U.S. Unfortunately, Albuquerque's history has not been left in the past. In fact, its poor reputation has only continued. A study from Go Banking Rates, for instance, named Albuquerque as one of the cities in the U.S. that is getting poorer, having seen a negative 16.49% change in its poverty rate between 2011 and 2021. For instance, the median household income in Albuquerque is a little over $56,000, compared to the U.S. median household income of a little over $70,000. As if all that weren't bad enough, Albuquerque's school system have also faced struggles with underfunded schools and underpaid teachers. That has probably contributed at least somewhat to the fact that Albuquerque has one of the worst graduation rates in the country, with a graduation rate of 80.7%. Number 5. Flint, Michigan. If you've so much as flicked on the news or leafed through a newspaper in recent years, you're probably no stranger to all of the woes that have afflicted Flint in recent years. The city of Flint came to unfortunate fame when its residents began complaining that the city's water was making them sick. Officials repeatedly dismissed this claim until it was actually found that there were substantial amounts of lead in the water, which was making residents, including children, pretty sick. Because of this, I'm guessing it's no surprise to you to learn that Flint is considered one of the worst-run cities in the entire country, ranking 145 out of 149 cities. Specifically, it was ranked 144 for the quality of its city services and number 133 for its total city budget per capita. A more detailed ranking put its education, health, safety, and economy at 139, 137, 124, and 144 respectively. In other words, Flint is pretty much struggling across every single metric that dictates a city's success. Number 6. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis has been ranked one of the worst cities in America for a huge variety of reasons. For starters, it's considered one of the worst places to raise a family, coming in at 181 out of 182 cities. It came in dead last when it comes to health and safety for families, which includes metrics like air and water quality and the number of pediatricians per capita. Its school system has also struggled immensely in recent years. The high school graduation rate, for instance, is only 81%. Recall that the city with the highest high school graduation rate, Irvine, has a rate of 98.7%. Memphis's low high school graduation rate is indicative of larger problems. The school system has struggled with poverty, a lack of resources, and a low morale among teachers. Unsurprisingly, this doesn't exactly make for an environment conducive to academic success. Additionally, Memphis is considered one of the most dangerous cities in America, coming in at number 5 according to its rate of violent crime. Specifically, Memphis was found to have a rate of 25.1 violent crimes per 1,000 residents, with a 1 in 39 chance of being a victim of violent crime. Lastly, Memphis has struggled with high poverty rates, with 24.2% of people here living in poverty. That's over double the national average. The median household income is also lower than the average nationwide, at a little less than $44,000 per year, and the median income per capita is significantly less at $28,000 versus US's median of nearly $38,000. Number 7. Mobile, Alabama. While I'll preface this by saying that the city of Mobile does have some merits, it's on this list primarily because of its high crime rate. In fact, Mobile is considered the second most dangerous city in America because of how much violent crime takes place here. Specifically, it has a violent crime rate of 27.9 per 1,000 people. The chances of being a victim of a violent crime are 1 in 35, which is one of the highest in the nation. Additionally, Mobile has struggled in other areas such as quality of public schools, affordable housing, and job market, leading to Niche giving it a ranking of C+ for each category. Because of this, and likely other factors, the population of Mobile is actually declining, which is never a good sign for a city. Number 8. Brownsville, Texas. Brownsville was recently named the second neediest city in America, according to 2 factors: economic well-being, which includes metrics like child poverty rate, adult poverty rate, and unemployment rate, and health and safety, which includes metrics like uninsured rate, food insecurity rate, and share of homes with inadequate plumbing. As I mentioned, Brownsville came in second out of 182 cities examined, with a score of 6 for economic well-being and 4 for health and safety. That's out of 182 cities examined. When we look closer at the data, it becomes even clearer how much Brownsville is struggling. For starters, the poverty rate is incredibly high at 26.5%. The median household income is only $43,000, and the per capita income is only $18,000, which is significantly less than the US's median per capita of $38,000. Additionally, Brownsville has a significant amount of crime, with a chance of being a victim of violent or property crime of 1 in 45. This makes it one of the most dangerous cities in the US, with a crime rate that's higher than 81% of other American cities and towns. What about the states everyone is leaving? Watch this video to learn about that.